Good morning. It is Scott Cullen, editor-in-chief of the Cannata Report. Great to be with you today for another episode of Fridays with Frank. Before I bring out Frank and his special guest, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and send Frank your questions. He loves to respond to those. But now, please welcome Frank Cannata. How you doing, Frank? And what's on your mind?
Well, we have a special treat this morning, Scott. We met today's dealer at a sharp dealer meeting, and Carol and I thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity. So please allow me to introduce our guest, Lynn Pickford from Precision in Pennsylvania. Lynn, nice to see you. Good morning.
Morning, Frank. Morning, Scott. Nice to see you guys.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And I was really intrigued by the question for the benefit of our audience. Please tell us what the question is you have for us to respond to.
My question was, obviously, diversity is a big factor in all of our companies, and we're always looking to diversify into different areas. Right now, we are offering postage meters, AV solutions, trying to get EV chargers off the ground, and looking into phone systems. But they get us into doors, but they're not hugely profitable, and there's not really any recurring revenue. So in your opinion, what's the best diversification that has a good amount of profit and a recurring revenue?
We've struck this theme many times, and we think it deserves the right answer, which will be a repeat of what we've said in the past about this and how strongly we feel about it. The simplest and the most direct diversification is moving upstream into production. Now, that has many applications. It's not just high-speed cut sheet. You've got labeling, you've got packaging. These are enormous growth opportunities. And the most encouraging thing of all is attending Printing United recently in Vegas and seeing so many dealers there who understand that this is what we have to do. And I have the response from the dealers that we met there and talked to was so encouraging. Now, we've been interviewing dealers in a series that we do every September. We interview roughly 4 dealers each year that are into production and doing an outstanding job. And the idea being, if you read the issue, these are how 4 of your fellow dealers made it, and made it big, and in our opinion. Now, big can mean many things to many people, but when I say made it big, substantially improved their business in terms of revenue and profitability. You go into a university, universities have their own production print center for the most part. They use it mostly for their athletic programs to print all the material that they use. So now you're going into a university and you may be just pitching, the idea is the MPS. You say, okay, what are you using for your production print? And vice versa, where you can use it as an entree into, getting on the bid list. Let's say you're not on a bid list with a certain university or a certain educational institution. Say, please, this is who we are and this is what we represent. We know you have X. We've got Y, and we'd like to be able to bid it the next time up. And that just opens the door to just many different things. Conversely, away from education, you have implants. And again, with implants, the dealers like yourselves go out and you bid your MPS contracts. But with production print, you have an opportunity to sell a centralized device, because with the fluidity of the business today in terms of how it's changed, in terms of people working at home versus being in the office, a lot of the dealers in looking at the renewal on MPS are finding, because where, just say, using make-up numbers, let's say there were 100 machines, now only have 50. And maybe there's a case here where we'll use a more centralized device to really do a lot of other things that the desktop can't do. So it's multifaceted in terms of the business. It can help you expand the penetration of your existing customers. It definitely increases your revenue, and along with that will increase your profitability. Now, what do I mean by increasing profitability? The margin's greater? No. I'm talking about the sale, increasing the number of devices that you can sell to the same customer. It may not be under the same contract. It may be a totally different contract. And particularly if you get into wide format. Because I can't say this enough. Wide and large format is a bonanza. And I've been saying it a long time. Think of it this way. When you sell a large format machine, when you deliver the ink or when you send the ink goes in 55-gallon drums. Think about that, the consumption, right, as a supply. And it has the normal margin for supplies that you experience. And in some cases, might even be a little bit better. And if you want to we'll just throw some numbers out. Let's assume you sell a large format and it's a 120 page per minute device and the sale price is $100,000. Just let's throw a number out. You will generate the same amount of money in 1 year that the customer paid the first year. So by the end of the first year, that transaction will be $200,000. Now, where have you ever done that, where you've installed a machine or a group of machines, and the first year the supply and service revenue equals what the machine cost? On wide and large format, the machine margins are not as great. So there's a little bit of a shortfall initially going in, but you got to look at it from the standpoint, I'm going to make out beautifully for the rest of the life of this machine, because you're going to get to what amounts as what you sold the machine for 4 and 5 years. This can't happen overnight. I don't want to think anyway, you do this and you start out and it's bonanza. No, that's not the way it works. You have to pay a lot of attention to building a team. And by building a team, you start by hiring somebody who is really well-versed in production print. All the successful dealers have done that to a greater degree than the other way. We have dealers who they feel capable people within the organization, and they feel they could help them get them trained and build their team from within. The majority of the others find someone and they bring the structure that you need to have to sell production print. It's really that simple. And I don't know any other thing that I could add that could say production print is the answer to diversification. You could start out with light production. And there's an excellent manufacturer. We're not commissioned by them if we mention their name. So I don't want anybody to go crazy here. Risso has a line of inkjet products that are great. Are they going to be a bonanza? No, you'll sell them. They'll be profitable. But it gives you that ability to start moving upstream and actually get you acquainted with inkjet, which is the future for print. I listen to dealers talk about, this is going to be difficult or it's going to take you time. Anything worthwhile is difficult. Anything worthwhile is going to take time. So take a look at that. Look, you're a Sharp dealer. They've just come out with the beginning of their relationship with Fujifilm. You have a wonderful relationship with that company. That's a great partner. So there's an avenue for you being built as we speak, and hopefully you can take advantage. Lynn, did that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Frank.
Thank you so much. Great seeing you. Look forward to seeing you at the next Sharp meeting.
You too, guys. Thank you so
Take
much,
care.
Frank. Thanks,
Thank
Scott.
you, Scott.